Okay. Questions, 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 questions. I need to bring up my internet for this. So. Gearing versus tribal. Now, this one depends. When you say gearing versus tribal, what do you mean? Because there's a couple of ways that you could go gearing versus tribal on and yeah, probably actually give that to the gearing. To be fair, its guns are better suited for it. The mounts are better suited for it. I mean, they're great. The tribals are great for covering other ships, but themselves, no. Great versus great in a gun battle. I'd give that to the tribal any day of the week. 2 extra guns, torpedoes that great in a close quarters battle. Tribal torpedoes that actually work, guns that are better, and depending on the time period, the tribal's probably going to actually have better radar overall. Versus submarine, I'm not even sure that the gearing's equipped with ASDIC. You know that, right? Last time I checked, I could not quite tell. And I'm sitting there, and I've got this entire... I found this website quite useful. And... C2 gearing class. Now, it's got QGA sonar. Decent. Don't know about the QGA, but hey. Type 124 sonar. 2,500 yards. QGA. Sonar, Super QC sonar, you know, intended to allow sonar, 30 kilohertz for accurate bearing, long range. I can't tell you the range because it doesn't like, because for some reason they don't like doing that on here. Just, yay. Doesn't matter. Both of them are equipped with that, so I mean, in ship versus sub, I'd probably still give it to the British. I'd probably give that to the British, given that, well, the British are more versed with this by the end of the war, and to be fair, at the start of the war. Versus ships versus ship. Personal choice, to be fair, because they're quite close together. The tribal has 1 extra turret, but I'd give it on that. Anti-air, now I'd give that. Okay, the anti-air, the radar on the gearings, or the best radar on the gearings, had a good, solid good solid range when it came to AA. So again, on the AA factor, I'd give it to the gearing, and in the Pacific Theatre, that's all you're really looking at. To be fair, you need the anti-air, and that's it. County versus Megami. The Megami has an extra turret. County gets equipped with 286 radar. Type 21 versus Type 21 radar you get on the Kumano. Either way... No, okay. Ship on ship. The extra gun turret, I'd give it to the Megami. If only for that. The armor is 4-inch belt armor for that versus 4-inch 5.5 on the magazine belt, 4-inch on the to 1-inch on the NVC, the machinery. Overhead conning tower. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, to be fair. No, yeah, I'd still give it to the Japanese. Better, heavier armor. More guns. All 8-inch, so... yeah, what are you going to do? And they're both 8-inch 40s. Now, the next one was... the Fuso versus the Pennsylvania. Ooh. Depends on the guns. Fuso. Gonna have to go down to P for this one. LMNOP. Pennsylvania class heavy battleships. 14-inch 45, 14-inch 45. 12-inch belt versus 13.5-inch belt. Radar versus, well, slightly worse radar. Yeah, I'd still give this to the Pennsylvania. Personally, I'd give this to the Pennsylvania. Heavier armor. One extra 14-inch gun on the Fuso, but then, yeah, more accuracy, better accuracy on the Pennsylvania, I can bet, by the time World War II starts, so there's that. Just turret looking at. Yeah, turret's more easily knocked out on the Fuso, but there's more of them, so that's less of a problem. Cleveland versus Konigsberg. Okay. Okay, armor. 2 inches of belt armor. Fuck. Are you cruel? Yeah, no. Four triples versus... so I mean, that's what? 3 extra guns on the Cleveland. More belt armor. Probably a heavier deck armor. What's the deck armor of the Cleveland? Yeah, 2 inches versus 1.6. I mean, yeah, you have the torpedoes on the Konigsberg, which probably actually work. I'm gonna give this to the Cleveland again. You know what the Germans are like? You know the Germans aren't anything like the Americans when it comes to AA. In fact, you know what it's like. Second Amendment rights. They want to make sure the entire fucking... basically. Entire fucking crew has access to their Second Amendment rights. Thank you, Drag. I am never going to let go of that one. Actually, I probably will, and I probably shouldn't use it, but hey. The moment I hit onto YouTube, I'm going to stop using that. Let's see. Eagle versus Burn. Now, I watched a pretty good weekly episode by Drakenifel, and I generally agree with him on most things. So, the extra speed with the Eagle, the fact it was completed far earlier than the Burn. I mean, 27? You had the Courageous class. And for God's sake, what the fuck are you doing? But you know what, I'm gonna go check. HMS Eagle, RF5, no, wrong Eagle, 1918. 25 to 30. You're probably looking at about the same for the French. $35 to $40. Okay, so you could carry more aircraft, but it's slower. By Lexington's, I think you mean Courageous. So it's slower. It's not as good. Well, it can carry more aircraft, but it's also heavier. Length 182 versus 667. Oh, 599 feet. So the Eagle's longer, which means it has a better deck space, better internal storage, in all probability. Beam is 115 versus 115. Draft is 26 versus 30. So in that regard, it's not too bad. It's deeper, but it's shorter. It's probably got a good turning circle. But on the other hand, you're talking about a ship that can go, what, 21.5 knots versus 24? Oh. Yeah. Lexington was commissioned in 27. Same as the Bern, if I recall. Commissioned May 1927. Fucking ridiculous. For a carrier, that... yet no. Guys, you've got to do better than that. And frankly, 21.5 knots. By the point of World War II, it's like, you know, in fact, by that point even, you're talking about sitting there, you need carriers with at least 26, 27 knots on them. 21.5's too slow. I mean, it's probably better. It's better in its aircraft. The general amount it can carry. So it'll probably win that fight 9 times out of 10. But I'd still give it to the Eagle.